What's up, you guys? So it's Layla Lynn and I'm back with another video. And in this video, we do have some breaking news. R. Kelly has reportedly overdosed in jail. So we're going to get into the details of what happened to him in this video. But first, if you're watching, if you're not familiar with me, I'm Layla Lynn. I do celebrity news and nostalgia. So go ahead and subscribe and everyone click the thumbs up button. All right, you guys, so Hot 97 is reporting that R. Kelly's attorneys have filed an emergency motion seeking his release from federal custody, citing a near fatal overdose while in solitary confinement. Now, there's a whole backstory to this. The reason he's in solitary confinement is because he is scared for his life. He says there is a plot to unalive him. So he's in prison in North Carolina, and he allegedly collapsed in his cell after receiving what his lawyer called a dangerously high dose of medication. So according to the motion that was filed, R. Kelly was placed in isolation on June 10th. So about a week ago, he was placed in isolation, and 2 days later, prison staff administered him medication. Then on June 13th, 3 days later, he reportedly fainted and was rushed to Duke University Hospital, where doctors determined that the dosage that he was given could have unalived him. It could have taken him out of here. And so he remained under supervision for 2 days before officials returned him to prison. So his attorney believes that the overdose was intentional. He claims it occurred just 2 days after filing a separate motion accusing prison officials of putting his life in danger. He said, quote, "This was no mistake. It was a dose that jeopardized his life and nearly ended it." And this is the third request for a temporary release for R. Kelly. His lawyers argue that he faces persistent threats behind bars, and for that reason, he should get out of jail. Now, y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. I don't think that's how it works. But his attorneys referenced a sworn affidavit from inmate Michael Glenn Stein, who alleged that prison staff and white supremacist group planned to unalive R. Kelly to cover up misconduct during his prosecution. So after after Stein's statement surfaced, R. Kelly was moved to solitary confinement. So that's why he was in solitary, for his alleged safety. And his attorneys described the conditions as inhumane. He reportedly sleeps in unsanitary quarters surrounded by insects and lacks phone and commissary access. But if you think about what he allegedly did to those women, it seems like he was doing the same thing to the women. Like he had them in unsanitary confinement and they didn't have access to phones. A lot of times they didn't have access to food. I'm not saying this is right, but I'm just saying it is allegedly what he did to the women that he would hold hostage in his homes. So because he fears getting poisoned, he's allegedly refused food for days. And when he was in the hospital, when he was at Duke, doctors found blood clots in both of his legs and in his lungs and recommended surgery. But his lawyer claims that before the surgery could be performed, armed guards removed R. Kelly from the hospital against medical advice, and they put him back in solitary confinement. And he said hospital records will confirm that he was denied urgent care. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Do you think there is a plot to unalive R. Kelly, or do you think his lawyer is just using anything to try to get him out of jail? In my opinion, I think it's probably a little bit of both, but I do think his lawyer is definitely using it to try to get him out of jail, because now they're even saying like they want to talk to the president. They want to talk to anybody that can get R. Kelly out of jail. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And on another note, we have a word from our sponsor. What's up, you guys? So in my live workshop, June 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're talking about how to get into your feminine energy, especially using the power of your voice as a woman. Like we're talking about feminine communication and the power in that. And I just want to say that when I talk about feminine communication and even femininity in general, I know a lot of people start thinking about submission. Like I'm talking about a woman being submissive or subservient to a man, which is not at all what we are talking about. I don't even believe in that, because I feel like that can be dangerous. To be submissive to anyone, regardless of gender, can be dangerous. What I'm talking about is getting into your feminine power as a woman. And I know some women are not used to this type of teaching, especially if you grew up in the church. You might have this feeling anytime anyone mentions femininity or your power as a woman, you might have been taught, to be submissive, that is something wrong with seeing yourself as powerful. And you have to think about it. If we all grown, I feel like on my channel, we all grown. We all between 25 and 44 for the most part. And so at this point in life, you have to realize if you feel like there's something wrong with femininity and feminine power and feminine communication, then you are operating from a point of weakness. You are operating from a place where you're probably easily manipulated and you don't even know it. So in my live workshop, September 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're talking about feminine communication and the power of your voice as a woman. It's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be through my website. So you do have to register for it. There's a link in the description box and my comment section, and I hope to see you there. All right, you guys. So I also want to talk about Chrisette Michele. Singer Chrisette Michele posted to social media yesterday and shared her autism diagnosis. She posted 2 pictures of herself, and then she put in the caption, "I just learned I'm autistic. Official diagnosis." They used the word severely. And I don't know why she said that, because that has a lot of people up in an uproar. The fact that she said severely. She said, "I've been quiet on here, but I've been outside singing, but learning to strip the mask one show at a time." The irony. "Just coming to grips with a lot and giving myself room to take it all in. My life and its challenges finally make sense. So much sense. Autistic. Would you get a load of that?" I'll talk more. Just wanted to say hi from stage side. So I think it's brave of her to share her diagnosis, especially the way people act about mental health. Sometimes you don't know how, like, she doesn't know how her audience might respond. But I think it's brave of her to share her diagnosis. And if you remember her on R&B Divas, her personality, I can see her being diagnosed as autistic. Now, the severely part, I doubt they said she was severely autistic. Maybe they said some other aspect of her was severe, but I don't think she was severely autistic. And other people are saying the same thing. Like this person who said autistic, not severely. It's okay. It doesn't have to be severely. You are still autistic and in the community, but don't latch onto their misuse of the word severely. I work with, but also grew up with autistic siblings. And so people have experienced being around people with severe autism, and they're saying it is not her. Someone else says it makes perfect sense. However, surely they put high functioning in that diagnosis. Maybe she's severely high functioning. He said, just remember, autism is something you have, it's not who you are. Someone else said, I'm all for anyone gaining a better understanding of themselves and would never invalidate anyone's struggles. However, you are not severely autistic. People who are severely autistic are often unable to manage their own affairs, maintain significant employment, and therefore rely on government assistance, may be nonverbal or have significant communication barriers, have challenges with eating, toileting, and self-care, etc., etc. And that is also my understanding of being severely autistic, that they can barely care for themselves if it's severe. Someone else said, you are not severely autistic in no way. Please get a second opinion. Then Google videos of people who are truly severely autistic. It is not you. And someone else said, you are not autistic, Sora. You are a woman with autism. Just another badge of honor that makes you unique. And someone else said, my 12-year-old son is severely autistic. I think you need a second opinion. And this is because people know what severe autism looks like. But y'all leave a comment and let me know what y'all think about Chrisette Michele coming out and announcing to the world that she's autistic and using the word severely, because it seems to be throwing people off. Y'all leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it. As always, thanks for watching. Now, if you made it this far to the end of the video, then I think you like my content. So make sure you subscribe and check out my channel. I have over 1,000 videos on my channel. Check out my playlist and my podcast, and I assure you, you will like more of my content.